Alright, what's up guys? So all the video you're about to see is actually from last Saturday when I got the engine back. I got everything running, I guess Monday, put it all in Saturday, Sunday. I just didn't have time to upload the video. So here it is. Alright, what's up guys? Today's finally the day. I got my motor back from the machine shop. So I'm going to start putting that all together. I got just the short block from them, so they put the pistons, rods, crank in, and then put on the oil pan and did all that. Right behind here you can see my paint booth, so I'm going to paint the block. I already painted the head, so I'll show you guys that now. So here's the cylinder head. I got it all masked up yesterday. I put a layer of the Duplicolor aluminum D1615 and then put the gloss black on the head. Can't really see it now because it's all masked up. But here's the block. Got it back from the shop all cleaned up. Everything's looking great. They wrapped it all up. Pistons are in. Everything looks good. I got my hoist set up. I just put the block on the stand. And then here's my paint booth. I'm going to be putting the engine in there. And I want to paint the block silver and the pan black. So let's get to it. Alright, I got the block all painted. Came out pretty decent. Not bad. Not going for perfection here, but want it to look a little decent. So next I'm probably going to put on the one of the heater core bungs. I'll start putting the oil squirters in and just start generally assembling everything. Well, then I'll probably put the head on first, then start doing that stuff. So I got the head prepped over here. I got the thermostat housing on with the new gasket. I also got all of the exhaust studs in. I don't know if you can see those. Yep. So I'll probably pop that sucker on and then go from there. Alright, so I got my oil squirters in. You can see they just slide in there. And that part slides in there. The oil comes this way and squirts it through these channels into the squirters and then up through the pistons. I also put in this used to be the stock turbo drain, but I tapped it out for 1/2 NPT, and I use it as another breather port for the block. So that attaches to my 4-port catch can. And then I also put on my M14 by 1.5 to 4AN turbo feed with a new crush washer. So that should be all good. Next I'm going to put the covers on for this. They go on like that. And then I have the gaskets. Where are the gaskets? Here are the gaskets. These gaskets just go in there. And then I got my 10mm bolts, and I'll torque them down to 12 foot-pounds. And that should be it until, well, that should be it for them. And then I'm going to start putting the head on. Alright, so I just laid the cylinder head on. I got the head gasket under there. I put together a little torque sheet. So I got to do 15 foot-pounds, 44 foot-pounds, then 130 degrees of angle torque. So I got my ARP fastener lubrication. I'm going to lube up the bolts, and I'm going to start dropping them in and hand tighten them down. Alright, so I got all the thread lube on the head bolts. I got them all hand tightened down, so now I'm going to torque to 15 foot-pounds. Alright, so I just finished 15 foot-pounds, and now I'm going to step it up to 44 foot-pounds. All right, we are now torqued down to 44 foot-pounds, and I double checked everything. So we're now set for the angle torque stage. So this is the angle torque gauge that I have. I bought it off Amazon. It is a clamp and wire type versus the type with the little arm. I really don't like those kind. They don't work that well. This, you basically put it on your bolt and you clamp it to anything. I like to clamp it to these right here, and it stays steady. It really doesn't move that much. Whereas the other ones with the arm, they have a lot of play and slop in them, and they're kind of a pain. That's just my opinion. Alright, so I'm now going to be torquing to 130 degrees. These are stretch bolts, so I'll be using a degreeing method. So basically what I do is this needle rotates after you loosen the set screw. I set it to 0 degrees. With this, with some pressure on this, so there's no slop in it. So I actually get 0 degrees. And then with that set to 0, I can begin torquing to 130 degrees. Yeah, you can see those are a pain. You gotta frickin' torque them a lot. I'm sweating, and it doesn't help that it's on the stand. Usually I lodge it up against the wall or something, but I didn't really feel like it this time. Everything worked out. I got all 12 torqued to 15, 44, and 130 degrees. So we're ready to move on. Alright, so I'm about to drop the cams in soon. Here you can see I got the Volvo pink anaerobic sealer on the head. I put the hydraulic lifters in, lubed them up, and put some lube in the journals, as well as the spark plug O-rings for the valve cover. I also put on the harmonic balancer as well as the timing belt pulley, and I got that all lined up to top dead center 1. You can see that timing mark lines up with the little notch in the pulley. It's kind of hard to see. Might be able to see it. I also got the anaerobic sealer on the valve cover, so that's all good to go. I just gotta lube it up and drop the cams in, and I use this roller brush and the Volvo anaerobic sealer here. So I'm gonna do that, and then I will record torquing it all down. Alright, I set the cams in. You can see we have the intake cam on this side, on the intake side, the exhaust on the exhaust, and they are marked. Let's see if we can see it right there. I think it's there. No, it's over a little bit there. It's the exhaust on the exhaust side. And then in order to time them, I have the mark over here lined up, and then over here, let's see if we can see this. This is gonna be hard. The lighting's kind of bad. But anyway, on this cam, the slot is supposed to be above the crease here, and on the exhaust, the slot right here is supposed to be below the crease when the cam cover goes on. So everything's timed up correctly. I'm going to get the cover, toss it on, and start pulling the cover down to the head. Alright, so this is a pretty slow process. The anaerobic sealer doesn't seal until the absence of oxygen, so I don't really have to worry about it drying. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten the cam cover down using the bolts. There is a special Volvo tool you can use, but I don't really see a reason to buy all those tools when you can just do it this way, as long as you do it in very slow increments and you do it from inwards to outwards. So I'm going to get going. Alright, I just double checked all the torques. Everything's good. Everything's torqued to 14 foot-pounds. So I'm going to let this dry for a couple of minutes. Wipe out any of the excess around the sides. You can see it's starting to ooze out on the sides, which means there should be a good seal inside. So that's ready to go. After that dries after a couple minutes, I'm going to put in the cam seals, put on the cam gears, then I'm going to put on the timing belt, and I'm going to rotate it to top dead center on cylinder 3 so I can time the cams, and I'll show that shortly. Okay, so I put the water pump on, new gasket, new bolts, thread locker, all that fun stuff. I got the cam gears on as well as the seals. They're behind there. I didn't really tape putting in the seals because it's, you know, nothing exciting. But usually what I do is just lube up the seal in white lithium grease and just hand press it in, and then use a screwdriver and a hammer very, very lightly to fully seat it in. Let's see. So now you might be able to see what I was talking about with the, you can see how this one is above the seam and that one is below the seam. So that's how you time the cams. Well, that's the initial timing. For now, I'm going to put the belt on. Then I got to rotate the engine to cylinder 3, pull the belt back off. I got to use a TDC finder to find true top dead center. And then I have a dial gauge that I will put in the cylinders on the lifters and set the timing from there. I'm going to do 2.5 millimeters of lift at top dead center on the intake and 2.0 millimeters of lift at top dead center on the exhaust. So I'm going to start doing that now. And yeah, then I got the turbo manifold. I got to put in the filter, new drain crush washer, a few other miscellaneous things, the cam sensor, the crank sensor, a few various brackets over here, PCV box, the knock sensors, and a few other small things, and it's pretty much ready to drop in, so making good progress. Okay, so I got the timing belt on. I rotated the engine over a couple times to make sure there were no issues with piston to valve clearance, and there were none. So I rotated the engine over until I was getting to cylinder 3 coming up. I put in my top dead center finder, which is in here. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate the crank until this needle stops moving. And then I'm going to see when it starts moving. And then I'm going to go back again and wait till it stops moving and go a little bit farther than that. And that should be pretty much top dead center on cylinder 3, at least close enough for my purposes. So I'm going to go back. Now we can see the gauge is moving, and now I'm going to go forward. Okay, so you can see it went down and then went back up. So I went a little bit too far. So let me try and do that a little bit slower. It's hard to do this with so much, with the cams and everything. It's very hard to turn the engine precisely. So it's going. Okay, let me try this another time. It's getting there. So let me zero it out around here. So we'll say that's pretty close to TDC. There we go, keep going. Should be right about there. Right about there should be top dead center. So yeah, now I'm going to take the belt off, and then we're going to put this inside of the lift, or we'll make that touch the lifters, and we'll set the lift to top dead center on cylinder 3. Alright, so now I have the dial gauge through the oil filler. That's why I have 2 of these. Originally these engines only come with just this one, but I punched out the blanket here and put in another one so I could do these cams. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the cam backwards so that it doesn't depress the valve anymore. So it depresses the valve. That makes no sense, but yeah. So basically how I do this is just with a hammer, and I watch my gauge until it stops, till the needle stops moving, and I know that the lifter has been fully depressed. Oh, and it fell off. But this can be kind of a pain. So let me reconfigure this. So now we can see that the needle is no longer moving, meaning the lifter is fully depressed. And if I look in there, it looks pretty depressed. I'm going to give it a couple more smacks. Yep, it's not moving. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zero this out. and 2.5 millimeters is about 0.1 inches. So I need to rotate this a full revolution forwards again. So now the cam's starting to push down the valve. So we're going to continue going around until we hit 0 again. And that intake cam is now timed. So I'm going to go ahead and do the exhaust side. It's the same exact process, except instead of rotating the cam backwards first, you rotate it forwards first to 0, or until the needle stops moving, and then rotate it backwards until you get your desired lift. For the exhaust, I'm going to run 2 millimeters, which I think is, I guess, like, I don't know, 0.07 or something like that. Alright, so I pretty much got everything on. I got the rest of the accessory bracket on, the PCV system, the knock sensors. I got this mount on. I got the manifold, turbo on. I didn't really record much because, you know, I wanted to get it done. I want to try and get it dropped in tonight. I got the tile on, screamer pipe, all the timing stuff situated. Turned over the motor a couple times. Everything feels great. Nothing's hitting. So yeah, just got to drop it in, put everything on. Gonna grab some cheapo Walmart oil, put in a filter, and already primed the cartridge down there. So just gotta grab some cheapo Walmart oil, let it warm up on that, and then make sure there's no metal in the filter. If there is, I'll probably do another flush. I might just do a flush regardless. And then I got my Brad Penn 30 weight braking oil over here that I'm gonna run. It has high concentration of zinc and phosphorus to help seat the rings and everything else. So I'm looking forward to this. I cannot wait. I really can't. All right. So I did end up getting the engine dropped in Saturday night. I got everything reassembled Sunday on the car, and I was about to start it. I was putting in the coolant, and there was a small leak on the water pipe. This is due to a ripped O-ring. I'll post up a picture of that. But I got a new O-ring Monday, and I got the car started Monday and everything. Everything's running. There were a few issues, a few leaks and stuff I had to fix, only 1 or 2. And I will be posting the videos for some of that soon, as well as some footage of it running.